Hey folks, this is your instructor Carl Lee Hobson. Um, this is SERP 590, and I'm going to do a quick video to show you how to locate and summarize two articles. This is an activity in week 3, and I think you may already know how to do this. I'm going to show you though maybe some specific tricks for finding articles using particular search terms, right? So the first place I would go, I don't go to the U of A library site, frankly, to go search anymore. I go to scholar.google.com, okay? So if you're not going here, one thing you should know is that this can link you directly to everything that you have access to at the University of Arizona or anywhere else. If you go up to these 3 lines here, once you get to scholar.google.com and go to settings and then choose library links. And in here, you see I already have University of Arizona and Open WorldCat, but I found those. It says, show a library. So let's say I was at Washington State University instead. It would give me the option. I would click those and it would show me the options that would be available in that library. If I checked on those, then once I searched, I would get links to the articles in their library. As it is, I only need the ones for the University of Arizona. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. Now, let's try a couple searches in areas of interest. I love reading about your guys' areas of interest. Some people seem to be interested in choice making. So let's start there. I see I already did some searches here. So let's start with just look up choice making. Right? So if you just look up choice making, right away you're going to get some articles that are useful. I'm going to tell you more about meta-analysis articles in just a minute. Here's another article, The Importance of Choice-Making Skills for Students with Severe Disabilities, System and Method. If you're going to say, gosh, don't I want the most recent articles? Single case design research doesn't necessarily change. Older stuff can be really useful. Here's an article by Glenn Dunlap and Winterling and Dyer from 1990, Effects of Choice Making on Serious Problems. Those guys were icons in the field. Fabulous. I don't mind that you use an older article. You might even contrast it with a newer one and say, gosh, I read an article from 1990 about choice making, and then I read one from 2015 about choice making, and they're still talking about the same things. So that leads me to believe that there's more research to be done in this area. Right? Let's talk about meta-analysis for a minute. So the reason this article is really interesting is if you get this article, it's going to tell you everything that's happened in the field from Dunlap on up. Okay, so the way single case design works, in particular, and other studies, but design types, single case design says we're going to do lots of little individual studies, and then somebody someday will throw them all together and say that proves a giant hypothesis. That's what meta-analysis is. A meta-analysis means somebody is looking at not just one study, they're looking at all the studies that have been done, lumping all the data together and coming up with statistical effect sizes. Okay? But one thing this article is going to do is going to say, here are the people who did studies that were really useful, here are people who did studies that weren't. That can be really helpful when you're just starting to investigate a field. They can also be a little tough to read, so take that into account too. Okay. If you wanted, though, to make sure you found choice-making studies about certain particular subject groups, you could say, you can see that I've already looked for some of these: autism, you could say intellectual disabilities. That would lead you to choice-making studies for particular sets of participants, right, and subject groups. You could just search for meta-analysis, and let's see if there's more than one. Yes. So here's the study we saw first by Sjogren. And here's another study from 2008, the effects of choice making on intrinsic motivation and related outcomes. That's kind of interesting. And those look to be that's kind of interesting. What's another area some of you guys are interested in? I was thinking tax and mans, but let's look at, how about this? Yeah, I was messing with this. There's at least one person in our group who would be interested in looking up free throws. I know Ari is interested in looking at basketball performance. In truth, guys, if you want to look at anything related to human performance, I'm wide open to it for this class. Okay. You can see here that there have been some meta-analyses. There's actually been lots of work done on basketball and free throws. And actually, if you want to look up studies done about single case design, type in the words single case and single subject. Here's somebody who used single case research design to investigate the efficacy of imagery training in free throw shooting. Okay. A field test of the influence of pregame imagery on basketball free throw shooting. So single case design is getting used in a lot of places, right? And these are actually older studies. So once you locate your studies, read them kind of briefly. You can read them as deeply as you choose. And then for this activity, just give me like a 3, 4, 5 sentence summary of each study. Okay, so say my area of interest was X, so I read 2 studies related to it. In the first study, they found this out. In the second study, they found this out. And then another little paragraph in your discussion that says, based on both of those, here's what I think now, right? That's what we're looking for. If you have any questions about this activity, shoot me an email or a text. I'll be glad to answer your questions. You guys are actually doing really great, and I think you're going to learn a lot from this activity that's going to help you like professionally, but also in terms of the course and coming up with the research question you'll use to reflect throughout this week and the coming weeks. All right. Take care. Bye.